air pollution contributes to 7 million deaths annually, according to the WHO. With India being a hotspot for pollution related challenges, what policy and research collaborations could be fostered between institutions and national research bodies to tackle this particular issue?
Yeah, I think air pollution is becoming a big menace, in India, and largely because of two main contributors. One is, of course, there's so much of biomass burning taking place in the country because of our rural activities. But more importantly, that we have vehicular pollution.
Welcome to another episode of Meet the Leader. I'm your host, Dr. Richa Mishra. I would take a privilege to introduce our distinguished guest of today, Dr. Akhilesh Gupta. Welcome, sir.
Thank you.
Dr. Gupta holds a doctorate in atmospheric sciences from IIT Delhi and has had an illustrious career spanning over 3 decades in the field of metallurgy and climate change and science, policy and governance. Dr. Gupta has held numerous prestigious positions including advisor to the Union Minister for Science and Technology, Secretary to the University Grant Commission, Secretary to Science and Engineering Research Board, Senior Advisor at Department of Science and Technology, where he oversees 5 major national mission on interdisciplinary cyber physical system, National Mission on Quantum Technology and Applications, National Supercomputing Missions, National Mission on Strategic Knowledge for Climate Change, and National Mission for Sustaining the Himalayan Ecosystem. Let's dive right in and learn from one of the leading experts in the field. Sir, I would like to ask a few questions if you allow. I would like to understand that India's allocation of just 0.7 of GDP to R&D is below the global average of 2.3% according to UNESCO 2021 report. So as former Secretary of SERB, what steps have been taken to increase funding for foundation and applied research, and how a university like Parul University can contribute to utilizing these funds effectively?
Let me first thank you for having me here. And this is indeed a privilege for me to be talking to you. India is in fact transitioning to a very interesting science and technology innovation ecosystem right away. To illustrate this, let me mention that in last 10 years, India made some very unprecedented progress in science and technology innovation. Although we spent only 0.64% of the GDP budget for R&D, globally we are number 3 in terms of number of publication. We are number 3 in terms of number of PhDs in science and engineering. We are number 3 in terms of number of startups and unicorn. And there are many other parameters where we had done tremendously well. We had 2 big challenges, and these are of course, one you mentioned already, that our budget is low compared to the global average, but also importantly that our number of researchers per million population is one of the lowest in the world. But despite low budget, and despite less number of people working for research, we are number 3 in terms of research records. That is because the Indian researchers are the most economical in the world. We can do research in less money and produce the same level of research that produced by other country. So the other part of your question is that how Parul University is going to be benefited. So See that India has something like 1200 universities, something like 470 private industries out of there. And so this is a big change taking place in terms of contribution of private university to the, our higher education system. So there was time when the private industries used to have very, they are considered very, I would say, outcasted, and they were not able to make a big impact on the ecosystem. The last few years, because of the good government policies, the private industries have started making a habit, and a big change that is taking place. The research and innovation is becoming an important component of their priority. Parul University in the recent years has in fact started working in the area of research and innovation, and in times to come they will definitely make a much bigger impact. I'm so very happy and privileged to join Parul University as chairman of their research and innovation board, and I look forward to interaction with the faculty here, and I am very hopeful and confident that in times to come, Parul will make something very big in terms of research and innovation outputs and outcome.
Thank you, sir. Sir, air pollution contributes to 7 million deaths annually, according to the WHO. With India being a hotspot for pollution-related challenges, what policy and research collaborations could be fostered between institutions and national research bodies to tackle this particular issue?
Yeah, I think air pollution is becoming a big menace, in India, and largely because of two main contributors. One is, of course, there's so much of biomass burning taking place in the country because of our rural activities. But more importantly, that we have vehicular pollution. In fact, this is a unique combination of rural component and the urban component. Both are contributing. And this is becoming more challenging because neither you can control the rural activity nor you can reduce the vehicular pollution in this urban area. So you need different policies and measures to control this thing. So in fact, India is doing considerably well in last few years. And the government has got out the policy to introduce a green transport system, while India is getting covered with a network of transportation like metro, rail and rapid rail. Also the buses in the cities, metropolitan cities like Delhi, Bombay and all becoming green, being run in CNG or some other battery operated system. Also there is the standard of pollution control system in terms of the type of vehicle also is being introduced. In city like Delhi, the government has introduced that any vehicle running on diesel should not run beyond 10 years and on petrol should not run beyond 15 years. There are a lot of awareness programs also being introduced so that people should understand that they should try to use maximum public transport. They should try to club the travel. They should have more cooling of commuters. All those things are introduced, but the fact of the matter is the situation is really grim in some part of the city, especially Delhi, where the atmospheric conditions are such that pollutions get multiplied during the winter time. So government is in fact working on some other measures. For example, some kind of measures to take away the pollution in the city. Those things are being taken as it's needed more a holistic kind of action, especially the common man should understand his role to towards this pollution. And sure, in time to come, people will understand that how effectively their contribution will be useful for this purpose.
With India's goal to become a 5 trillion economy, what specific research areas do you think the government is prioritizing to ensure innovation-driven economic growth?
So, it's very interesting that if you look at the, say, post-independent science developments, you find that in Nehruvian time, there was so much of emphasis on popularization of science. Also, new institutions were developed. But at that time, most of the science was, focused on basic research. But when the global economy, when the India economy became global, it was necessary that Indian science also should become global. And there should be more focus on technology, especially the translational research. So in the last 10 years, the government has given a lot of emphasis on translational research, where the research can be taken from the basic science stage to the stage of innovation and the market. Now, that is why government, government has launched in last 10 years something like 25, technology-related missions. And most of these technology-related missions are focusing on translational part, where the industry or the private sector are involved to create markets for this thing. Of late, this is so much of success received. The mission on the National Mission on Cyber Physical System launched in 2018, and now creating so much of jobs. Some 40,000 jobs have been created. So much of IPR is developed on that. So many more than 450 startups have been connected. So, similarly, the new mission that has been launched recently is the National Quantum Mission. There is so much of industry participation into this thing, startup participation. I think India is transitioning from basic research to translational research in order to address the growing economy of India and global competition that it will have because of this changing world. Because India now is in that stage where it can work not with just Indian researcher but global researcher, and gone those days when India used to depend on technology from outside. I think India is also inching towards developing indigenous technology and technology indigenization, so that it becomes such Atmanirbhar in technology in times to come.
Yeah. Yes, sir. That was quite insightful. Sir, I would like to ask one question which is related to data and data privacy and policy making. Sir, data indicates that countries with robust STI, science, technology and innovation, policies like the USA and Germany contributes to over 40% of global research outputs. What role does India's STI policy play in ensuring Indian researchers contribute significantly to global research?
So I'll tell you, just to mention the trend, how this trend is taking place. Just 10 years back, we were number 7 globally. In last 10 years, we surpassed countries like Russia, France, Germany, UK, and even Australia and Japan. So that shows that India is in fact becoming a very dominant research country in the world. Now, in fact, the data that you are reading is actually the old data. The recent data shows that India is now, in fact, if you look at, let me just give you the kind of data I have. As I said, India number of researchers is less, 350,000 researchers in India, and compared to some 16 lakh in China and 21 lakh in US. So the number, they are a large number, and the funding available, US spend 150 times more than India. China spends more than 100 times more than in India. So but then Indian researchers are becoming very, very, I would say, aggressive and very dominant, and that is how you have this number of research workers coming, something like 150,000 per year. And let me tell you, and this is an important turnover taking place, that the 400 plus private industries are actually contributing so much to the research. This I had got data showing that there's so much an increase in the number of research takers and patent. Patent also, the resident patents are in killing number increasing now, and that shows that the contribution is coming from others. So earlier the traditional science in India was dominated by government. Now private is also coming. So the sum total is this, that this is India science and technology innovation is transitioning right now. And look, if you see the future trajectory in 10 years, you find that India might surpass even country like China and US. So you never know how we are going. So all of us are working for science. I think we must do more than what we are doing and ensure the kind of national policies in place and more money available for this purpose. It is going to be very, very promising for all the researchers in the country to move forward and do something more, and sure in future of science lies with the future of science in India.
Sure, sir. Sir, your area and your interest, which I understood mainly into climate change and climate missions also. So I would like to take one question from that. 2022 study in Nature Climate Change revealed that the advancement in climate modeling have reduced forecasting errors by 20% in the last decade. How do you see India's progress in atmospheric research contributing to global climate resilience, especially through missions like the National Supercomputing Mission?
Yeah. So this is a very interesting question. Let me dwell upon this slightly different way. I work as weather forecaster in India Meteorological Department and National Center for Medium and Weather Forecasting. At that time, the models are very coarse resolution model, 150 kilometer model I used to run, and I was given this challenge of predicting weather over the terrain like Mount Everest.
Yeah.
In last 15 years, the world has changed like anything. Now we have model less than 1 kilometer model also. And this has, so weather is what? Weather is something like, how it is predicted. It is predicted through the changes that is taking place in each grid point. So that is how it is predicted incrementally in future, in time. So there's so much of revolution has taken place in terms of the weather modeling, both in terms of its resolution, but more importantly in terms of physics that is used. So all the atmospheric processes are both dynamical as well as physical. Physical is how rain occurs. Rain doesn't occur, just like the vapors go up and precipitate. It has a process. The cloud formation is a very complex process. Cloud is a rain in suspension in the air. So you find minor droplets of the particle droplets of the water. They are there in the atmosphere as cloud. And when the clouds gets lifting up, and so they get a coagulation and collision process take place, and it becomes thing. So all that processes called in physical process we call this thing. Now these changes are also contributed to the climate modeling. Climate modeling is of course the large scale long term modeling, but better physics and better resolution is also helping climate. I have been part of IPCC right from this first report to now, sixth report, and I found there is so much of change has taken, so much of change in their messages or their outcome has taken place. I think India is making a big impact on this thing. We also have our own weather model today, and we also have now created our own customized climate model. We are participating globally in climate modeling comparison exercise, and we have a good future. The weather and climate community, the community is growing like anything. And we have more than 3,500 scientists today, as compared to some few hundred 20 years back. So I think, and government policies is to promote these kind of research in institutions like IITs and universities. I'm sure this future is very bright for weather and climate modeling in the country.
Sure, sir. Thank you for briefing me up about it. So, report shows that only 3% of global research is focused on SDG related outcomes, UNESCO, according to UNESCO Science Report 2021. What strategies can program like in scope we had briefed you up about S4 H square adopted to increase the percentage and promote SDGs focused innovation? So, sir, can you please let me know, are we going in a right direction, or do we have to reframe any of the initiatives?
Very interesting question. I'll tell you, most of the universities, including Parul University, they assess a scientist based on his or her output. How many research papers somebody has published, how many patents somebody has filed. But the world is changing. So globally there is a new concept developed. It's called research and innovation assessment.
Yeah.
And I had the privilege of being initiating this in India, part of SERB. This is very interesting. So how do you assess a research? What is the best assessment criteria for this? So it's like judging a person. Just gaze on his or her, outer, face or outer kind of appearance. You cannot judge a person by his outer, appearance. You have to judge a person something inside. But this is the whole problem with the research in India. You are talking about the output. I think we should talk about the outcome. An outcome is what impact research has made to the society and the policy of the country. So whether research that is created by you has made any impact on society, or has it made any impact on the policy of the country? So this is the research innovation framework it has been developed, and now that I am in Parul, I am going to introduce here also. This is that is society. So basically, SDGs are nothing but societal indicators.
Yeah.
Well, how has been your education? How has been your health? How has been your environment and all these? So basically, the idea is that we need to link research with the SDGs.
Right.
How this will contribute to these indicators. Now, you don't have framework right away available. But now, I have a student of mine working in ISC Bangalore. She has developed this kind of indicators for India. And if your management permits, I will introduce it here.
Yeah, sure.
So this is a new paradigm shift taking place in India, where the assessment will take place not from the output point of view, but the outcome point of view, which is societal driven outcome.
Sir, I'm so grateful to know that insight, because this was when we were planning how to do audits of the faculty members that they are doing and they are looking forward for doing research. So we had come across one report which shows that we can evaluate by even knowing their blood groups. Right. Do you allow to do such kind of evaluation, because that shows the blood composition, how we are going to behave and what attribute we have? Is it make sense?
So I think research is evolving in this area, and sure something will emerge. Right now I cannot say with confidence that this is the right way of doing it. Mm-hmm. But I think in time we can get some better insight on this.
Thank you. Sir, with several new initiatives of Government of India like Anusandhan National Research Foundation, how do you see future of science in India?
So this is a very important question, because India has some kind of I would say inequality in science funding. For example, the funding right now in the extramural funding largely goes to IITs and NITs and ISER. 65% of extramural funding goes to these institutions. Remaining 35 is get distributed in universities. Importantly, that state universities, including private university, get only 11% of the funding. So why it is so? Because the say university like Parul, I have seen here the people apply for the funding, and only 1 or 2% get the funding, because their condition is with IITs and NITs and all. There's a common condition, and there definitely IITs and others, they have better facilities and better manpower. So they take away all the funding, we get only fit. What was thought, and I have been part of the formulation of National Research Foundation. So what we thought that there should be a different vision for funding than what we have. The one idea is that we should create a separate condition for state universities and private university. Don't mix with the IITs. Then they can compete better. The second idea is that make private universities and state universities more competent by giving better exposure, give them better facilities. So government is planning to give large-scale funding to private universities and state universities. This will make them more competent, more worthy of getting the funding and all. So I think National Research Foundation is actually aiming to create equality in the STI funding ecosystem in the country, so that this research. I'll give you one example that you can understand. There are 3.5 lakh researchers in the country. but then there are 15 lakh teachers. So you were just discussing today that can teachers be converted into researchers? But 80% of the teachers, they don't do research. Anusandhan National Research Foundation is going to focus on bringing teachers to the research level. This is a big challenge, but which is what is being thought about. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you for your insights.
Thank you so much for having me here.